Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. It's Timo with Timo Paints, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about how to spray a ceiling fast and like a professional. So this project here was out of town project, and I like to spray the ceilings because you can cover, a vast majority of area with a sprayer, and it's only a flat paint. So I like to put flat on my ceilings in the common areas. In the bathrooms and the kitchens, you obviously want to put semi-gloss. So if you're trying to achieve a professional paint finish, make sure you use a semi-gloss type of paint in the bathrooms and the kitchens. And then any other area, bedrooms and hallways and stuff, you could just use flat paint. Flat paint, I recommend it. There's actually some buckets that have just ceiling paint. So I always spray my ceilings. And then the one thing to keep in mind is when you are going to spray your ceilings, like which direction to spray, right? Because sometimes it's like you could spray left to right or top to bottom, etc. So for me, I like to spray across. Like if you walk into the room, you want to have your spray pattern going perpendicular to how you're staring into the room, wherever the entry is, So you want to go opposite. So speaking of professionally painted jobs, if you're looking into starting a paint business, I created a small paint course for you guys. And also inside of that course, there's a free guide that explains to you guys how to estimate jobs. Estimating was really hard for me when I first got started because I would just say, oh, this will take me 6 hours. I'll charge you for 6 hours. The only problem with that is you're not really making a profit because you're just getting paid hourly. So I created an estimating guide to help me generate profits for my hours that I'm putting in, and also the way to not overbuy paint, because I never knew how to estimate paint, and I tried so many different ways to do it, and I could never really get it dialed in until now. And I made it available for you guys. I'll leave it linked in the description below, and it'll be a pinned comment too. So if you guys are looking into getting started for the paint business, or you've already started a paint business, need some help, or like even if you've had a painter come in and give you a quote, you could download my free guide, and it'll kind of break it down how I like the bid, and you can see if it's in the ballpark or whatever. So painting these ceilings, I have all this plastic on the walls, and that's because of all the furniture in the house. We pushed everything against the walls, and then we drape plastic down. That way we can go ahead and just start spraying with minimal preparation. Otherwise, we'd have to spend the whole day moving all the furniture into the back. I like to add on the extension to my gun. Right here, I have a 12-inch extension. I think it's like a 10-inch extension, actually, on the end of the gun. And this will help with less fatigue, so you don't have to keep your arm above your head. And by doing that, it allows you to have more control at the end of the spray gun where the tip is, and that'll also help you achieve like a super professional finish on your ceilings. Another thing to keep in mind, you could tell here what I'm doing is it's a good shot to explain to you what I'm doing here. So you want a half lap. So right here I have a 10-inch fan because I'm using a 5/17 tip, and it's a 10-inch fan. So basically what you want to do is 5 inches you want to be over the last fan that you put. So you want to overlap. They call it a half lap. So half lap to achieve a professional spray finish on your ceilings. Using this extension really does help, and using a big tip, a wide fan with a big orifice on your tip. Now I know some of you guys that's not going to make sense, but for some of you it will. So half lap, this is another good prime example. So my fan is going from about here to here, and you could tell that I'm right about in the center here doing an overlapping because you want to make sure you get full coverage. And for instance, when I'm going down this direction towards this back wall, my wand here on my gun is not exactly perpendicular. However, you want to try to keep it exactly up and down. But if you have a slight angle on it, doing this half lap coming back the opposite direction will help you fill in that gap. So now there's different types of ceilings. This house that I'm doing here was a low ceiling, 8-foot ceiling, which is super standard. And I like these 8-foot ceilings because I just have to use the little tiny extension on my gun, and there's not a lot of stretching, not a lot of ladder work. However, I recently did a job where there was a lot of ladder work here, and you have to use a longer extension. And you can see that I'm doing the exact same thing. This is the front door of the room, and even though it's a little off to an angle, good rule of thumb is you'd walk into this room and you'd look out this direction here, and all of the spray lines will be, perpendicular to the way that you're looking. So, and use ladders if you have to. If you don't have access to, the spray wand, just use a ladder. This is a vaulted ceiling, so I had to use a ladder on this. I could have probably put another extension on and sprayed everything from the ground, but you do lose pressure, and you have to dial up your pressure, and that's just a whole nother video, I think, in itself. But if you guys are out there and you're bidding paint jobs and you're getting the paint jobs, or if you need help bidding, I created a free estimating guide. I'll leave the link in the description below. It'll also be the pinned comment. It's a free guide. When I first started, man, I had a hell of a time trying to dial in my pricing, and I developed this guide, and it's head on every time. It keeps me right where I need to be to pay myself hourly, as well as, you know, pull a profit down at the end of the job. So if you guys are interested in that, I'll leave a link in the description below. It'll be the pinned comment as well. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like this video. I hope it helped you out. Let's do a little quick review. So 3 tips to painting a ceiling fast and like a professional. One is to use a big tip and use an airless sprayer. You can roll ceilings, but the fast professional way is to do it with the sprayer. Have an extension on your sprayer for less fatigue, which will be easier for you to keep going because you want to keep pushing that wet edge along. And what was the third tip? Spray perpendicular to the entryway of the room, if that makes any sense. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.